Hey guys, it's Jess, and I'm excited to share some brand new cut files from scrapbook.com. So these are absolutely the newest thing. They have just started releasing cut files for digital die cut machines like the Cricut or the Silhouette, and I have a Cricut, so I thought I would go ahead and show you guys how to use them. So what you're going to want to do after you've downloaded your file from scrapbook.com is to go ahead and extract the file and create a new file for it to go into. Now, what I would recommend doing is creating a folder that will house all of your files like this, any die cuts, any cut files, digital stamps, things like that. I would definitely recommend creating a file. You can call it scrapbook.com cut files or whatever, and just store it somewhere that it's easy for you to get to. So create that new file, go ahead and go to upload, and then you're going to go to browse. You're going to select the image from the folder after you have extracted it, and then choose the one that you would like to use. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put all of them in here just so that we have everything we need, but I don't end up using all of them for my project today, but you do have those options. So what's included when you get this is a little pamphlet that has information, which is the first thing that I opened. So that just has information about the die cuts and what you can use them for, as well as what's included. Now you can see there I had 3 different pieces, and that included the outline, what it would look like if you had it cut directly from the paper rather than using the outline portion. And then those circles are the backer pieces. Now it's really important that when you use your images, you size them up or down together. So I drew a box around both of them before I changed the size. That way, no matter how large or small I make it, my backers will always be the perfect size for my cut file. And that will just keep you from being frustrated, especially if you've created a pretty background that you want to use, and then you find that you've ruined it because it's not the right size. That's always frustrating, so that should help with this. So then you're just going to go to make it, position it wherever you want it on your paper, and then get to work. So I'm going to show you what I did to create my cut file. I actually went ahead and painted on a piece of white cardstock. I used some craft store paint and then also some Dina Wakley acrylic paints in a variety of blue shades and then a little gray down at the bottom. So I wanted to get a nice mix of colors here. So I started with a dark navy, it kind of went more to like a royal sort of blue, then a turquoise, and then a gray. Now I'm using an old gift card from Target. Don't worry, there's no balance on it. And I'm just smearing the paint across the paper. There's no fancy technique here. It's just, I'm literally just smearing it across the paper. I did go back and try to kind of blend things out a little bit, and it gives it sort of a nice gradient look when you're able to do that. But the paint does dry fairly quickly, so just keep that in mind. Now I'm using the Distress spray stain in Picket Fence to splatter on some white goodness. You guys know how I love my splatter, so I couldn't resist. Here is a peek at the cut file doing its thing in the Cricut. It's actually working on cutting out that cut file right now, and then we're going to go back to my desk and get to work on the layout. So you can see here that it cut out my my painted area where I positioned it on my map preview screen, and I'm left with both the positive and the negative. And what does that mean exactly? The positive is going to be the actual cut file part, the part that I peel off first. That's going to be the positive. The negative is all the stuff that's left behind. Now you can choose to get rid of it if you want to, or you can save it like I did, try to keep it in exactly the same position, and then use it for another project. I have another project coming for you this week that actually uses that negative space, so I would encourage you to keep it because it's beautiful. You worked hard on it, and don't, just toss it away. So there you can see that's the positive image, that's the die cut, and I'm going to be using it on a clean and simple layout. I decided I wanted to use these 2 pictures of my son. We were doing an impromptu photo shoot for that little shirt I created for him. at a previous time, I think maybe earlier this year, and he was outside swinging and playing in the backyard, so I decided I wanted to use those. I went ahead and cut down the circle images so that they are the perfect size. Now, I could have used the backer cut file, but at the time I wasn't thinking about it. I wish that I would have done it because it would have been a lot faster. But I was worried at the time about getting it like perfectly lined up because it's a picture rather than just like pattern paper or something. But there are ways around that, and I can definitely show you guys that in another video later as well. All right, so I'm just using some multi-medium matte from Ranger. It is a glue, which is super handy because it just dries clear. If you make any mistakes, don't worry. I'm just using that to adhere my little photos to the back. And once those are in place, I can go ahead and start working on the rest of my layout. Now, the cool thing here is that you can fill up all of those circles, or you can just fill up a couple of them like I did here. I wanted to kind of keep this layout plain and simple so that you could still see the cut file really well and it would be the main focus of my layout. But you can definitely feel free to dress it up and get crazy with adding layers and lots of embellishments. Totally up to you and your style. So I have these little sticky letters. They're thickers. Well, they're some sort of dimensional sticker letter, but they weren't the color that I wanted them to be. So I just got some craft paint and I painted them black, and now they're perfect. So if you ever have something that isn't quite the right color, don't hesitate to paint it. Go crazy. I just painted them black, and it worked out really well because they actually had some glitter on them, and the glitter still showed through the black somehow, which I thought was actually kind of cool. So now I have glittery black letters. Anyhow, so I'm using some Thermoweb purple tape to just create a straight line for me to put my sentiment on. And I decided to go with Remember This as my main title. And then I did add some other little sentiments in here and there with the little Tim Holtz strips. So he's got a couple different sets where you can pick and choose different words, and then, you know, you can make them into your own sentiments. And I really like that the way that those look, especially since they were black and white. It really went with my theme here. But yeah, I decided to go with Remember This. I toyed around for a little while with maybe doing a scripty word or something like that, but I couldn't decide on anything, so I decided the big block letters were good. So here I've grabbed a motif sheet from Dress My Craft. This is basically a sheet full of embellishments that you can cut out and add to your projects. And I did go ahead and cut out all of those blue and turquoisey sort of butterflies. And now what I'm doing is using a Prima stamp. I'll have everything linked below for you guys in case you're interested in anything, but this one is like a really pretty scripty stamp. And I'm using some dark gray ink, stamping it off once and then stamping it onto my background. So it's like a second generation stamp, but that just prevents it from being too dark and crisp. It gives it that faded sort of look. And I really liked that because it added something to the background, but it didn't take my focus away from the cut file or from my sentiment or title and all of that. And I really, really like that effect. So here you can see those butterflies, and I'm just sort of placing them where I think I might like them. And then I went ahead and pulled out those Tim Holtz booklets, like I mentioned before. So there I have Chitchat, and then I think that one's called Big Talk. I think. Anyway, the words in that one are quite a bit larger. So I did end up choosing Create Happiness up at the top, Make Memories in the middle, and then Capture Kindness, because I really want my boys to be kind humans, and I just think that's really important. So I'm always on the lookout for them doing sweet stuff. Then I just added some cute little enamel dots, and that finished off my layout, you guys. It was super simple, super easy, and that cut file packs a big punch. Everything is linked below, like I said, so if you have questions about anything, don't hesitate to let me know, and you can grab your own cut file over at scrapbook.com. Thanks so much, you guys. I hope you loved the video. Be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you in another video really soon.